So now that I'm finally done with my clinical internships, here are some of my favorite patients. Patients who completely ignore their medical problems. We had one lady who came in whose kidneys were already chronically damaged. So she had a lot of problems. She was completely filled up with fluids that she couldn't clear through her kidneys, and she had heart problems and all kinds of stuff. And she was just sitting there, and we said, it's so bad, you need dialysis. And she just went, I don't know. I'm just a little bit tired. I think I'm just gonna go home and get a good night's sleep. Like, that's gonna help. Patients who say yes to every question that you ask them. We usually ask them if they have chest pain just to make sure that they didn't have a heart attack or are having one right now. But they'll just say yes to everything and just they'll have everything that could go wrong. All the complaints under the sun have all accumulated inside of their body. I really like patients who are very involved with their own medical problems and want to be educated on what it is and what they could do about it. People from our generation usually are already quite well informed. They Google everything. They kind of want to figure out what their alternative options are when it comes to treatments. But it's also really nice and refreshing just to have an elderly person, document everything that's been going on with them for the last couple of years, know the jargon, know the medication that they've been taking. It's just super helpful, and it also makes for better healthcare. Some patients think that the whole medical healthcare system is one hive mind, that when you tell your story once, you're done with it. So usually they tell a nurse or an A&E doctor the story first, or maybe even an ambulance personnel. And then as soon as you get to them, they're like, no, but I already told my story, so you need to find it in the patient charts. And I'm just like, no, first of all, people can get the information wrong, because if you're being triaged and they're in a rush, they're probably going to write down crap that isn't completely accurate. And second of all, if you've just been discharged from a different hospital on the other side of the country 2 days ago, no, we do not have that. We do not have that information. I like patients completely mess up their dates when you try to take a past medical history. They'll be like, oh yeah, I had a back operation. Was it long ago? Yeah, it must have been like in the 70s. And then you look at one of their letters and it turns out they had the operation in 2012. What I find super interesting when I take patient histories is when patients mention that they have a partner. It's usually a partner that they're living with, not a business partner or anything like that. But the fact that they say partner rather than girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, always make me assume that they're gay. And I think it has to do with the fact that homophobia still isn't completely eradicated, even in Holland and England. So just to be a little bit more careful, you'll just say partner. I really like it when you actually end up seeing a patient multiple times, because usually as a student, you just see a patient once, and the chance of them seeing them back again in clinic is very small. So whenever that happens, that's really nice. Just a bit of a follow-up. Actually, one time I was at the rheumatology department and I saw a patient who looked at me and just went, did you used to work in Almere? Because I remember that you treated my son. And I did do my pediatrics rounds in Almere. So apparently during my outpatient clinic weeks, I saw her son who had a case of the asthma. But it was really cool that I got to see her back again, and really amazing because even more than a year later, she still recognized me somehow. I don't know what I like more, when patients call me doctor and I'm just like, oh, okay. Or when patients call me child, because I just think that's really cute and lovable. And those are usually people who are, over 65. And even though they truly believe that I'm a doctor, they still also see me as a kid. What I find interesting is when you end up seeing a patient who don't want to be helped at all. They'll wait at the A&E for hours. They'll get triaged by a nurse. Then they get put on a certain color code and they have to wait for like 5 hours on end. So you can see them and just say, well, we noticed that you got a little bit of a blood problem, or there's an abnormality there, and we thought we might treat you for that. And they'll just go, no, actually, I don't want to be treated for that. Then we go, oh, do you want to be treated for anything else? No, I honestly, I'd just rather go home and talk to my GP about it. Look, it's just your time that you're wasting here, but why did you bother waiting here if you didn't want anyone to help you in the first place? And lastly, my absolute favorite kind of patients are just the patients who don't seem to get it, you know? Like, they're here and quite willing to help, but their story will be just full of digressions, you know? They'll mention that little episode that they had over the summer where they suddenly felt very hot, but it never happened since then, and now I've come here because I have a cough. They can't really differentiate between what's important and what isn't, so they just kind of tell you the whole story and give you those looks like, is this helpful? And it never is, but it's just so cute. Last week I saw a patient who just came in with feeling tired. He woke up this morning, went to have his breakfast, and then kind of dozed off while having his tea, and everyone thought that he might have had a stroke. Seriously, NHS, this is the reason why you don't have any money. If you try to treat even patients like these at A&E who just kind of fall asleep at the beginning of the morning, yeah, I felt really bad for all of us that day. Anyway, so we were already examining him, making sure that we couldn't find, you know, a stroke or a heart attack or anything like that, even though the chance was already really small. He just kind of looked up to us and just went, I really like to sing. But the thing is, he honestly gave us that look like, maybe that will help with the whole diagnostic process of yours. No. Those are actually my favorites because those patients really seem to realize that the mutual concept of a patient-doctor relationship is that the doctor will try to find what's wrong with the patient and treat it, and they need to help us along the way. And together we can kind of figure out what is going on, what the best treatment option